Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, please lead us from unreality to the reality, ignorance to the knowledge, and from death to immortality. Oh, peace, peace, peace. Dear devotees, today this is a continuation of the earlier topic, Sunday topic, that is the life and teachings of a great saint, Swami Dayananda Saraswati. So he was a contemporary of Sri Ramakrishna, and he was born in the western part of the India, that is Gujarat. So Sri Ramakrishna took birth in the eastern part of India. So Dayananda Saraswati took birth in the western part of India, that is Gujarat. The interesting part already we saw in the previous class, how he was obsessed with the truth and chastity and the monastic life, and he wanted to study, and he was obsessed with study and other things. We did try to understand, we did try to know. Now he had received sannyas, and he was traveling different parts and searching for yogis, searching for pandits, searching for gurus actually, so that he can learn. See, sometimes when we read a book or when we just have a graduation, we feel that we have learned, we have learned, or not much to learn, etc. Many times we think, but in his case, he was not thinking like that. He was, how much ever he reads, his inquisitiveness or his hunger for knowledge was never complete, and it never got quenched. He wanted to learn more and more. As a result, he went to different parts of India, northern India especially, north, east, west. He didn't come to South India. So he traveled and he tried to meet yogis, he tried to meet pandits and learned monks, and he wanted to learn if they are sincere and if they are really truly learned. And now, from the Agra or the Kumbh Mela, after attending the Kumbh Mela, slowly he decided that he will go to Himalayas. Now, Himalaya is the lovely place for every one of us, and especially for the monks. There are so many mendicants even today, they leave and they do penance and they do contemplation and all. It is the place, abode of monks and mendicants. He knew that very well, so he also wanted to go. And he didn't go in the either train or the flight or whatever. He went by walk. Just he was on foot, he was going. And he traveled a lot. He traveled and he stayed in Rishikesh. He spent some time in solitude and he went to Srinagar. Then he discussed with few monks, and again he came to Prayagraj. Again he came back. Then Prayagraj for some time he stayed there, and again he started towards Himalayas. Interestingly, because he was searching for the monks and the pandits every time, that's where he was keep on traveling. Then now he went to Himalayas as and in the Kedar Ghat, he started staying there. And it was Himalayas and heavy snowfall. There's a biting cold, intense jungle, etc. And he doesn't have much food, or there is no much right place to stay. And in spite of all these physical hardships, he was staying and he was trying to find the suitable monks. One day, in between there are sharp stones and valleys, mountains, etc. Whatnot. All these things he was walking many times, and he had a lot of dangerous paths he had to take bath, but still his strong determination never deterred, and he was keep on struggling, or he was keep on going further, going on, so that he will try to meet some yogis at some point of time. And he went to Joshimath. Joshimath is also a place, It is a monastery and as well as the area called Joshimat. There he went because he learned that there are several yogis there, so that he wanted to go and meet the yogis. And he went, and as he expected, as he anticipated, he did meet some yogis. He was very happy. They were well learned, they were good practitioners, and they knew advanced yogic techniques. So he also learned yoga tech. Already had studied quite a few, and he studied, he deepened his yogic knowledge, and he also learned a lot of yogic practices from them. Then afterwards, slowly he traveled again much more northern part of the India or Himalayas. Then that is Badrinarayan. So when he went to Badrinarayan, there he met the priest or the Mahant. Is called Ravalji. He himself was a great learned Pandit. Himself was a great learned Pandit. That is Ravalji in the Badrinarayan temple. So the Swami Dayananda Saraswati met with him, and both of them were exchanged their informations and other things. And Swami Dayananda Saraswati was very well. What do you say, attracted towards this Ravalji for his wisdom. So both of them for a days, they day in and day out, they started discussing and knowing each other and knowing or sharing the information, sharing the wisdom each other. So this is what happens with the great people. We all speak about situations, we all speak about people, we all speak about problems, but when the great intellectuals, they when they sit together, when they meet together, they all speak about the great ideas or the knowledge. So this Ravalji and Swami Dayananda Saraswati, they also started discussing about various scriptures. After a few days, Swami Dayananda Saraswati again he wanted to take a difficult path, the way where the Alakananda river, which is afterwards it has been called as Bhagirathi or Ganga. So that path, that river path he took. And it was not a easy walk, cakewalk. There was a biting cold, snow, valleys and all, and he didn't have much to eat, food. But still, he took that tedious path. And at some point of time, he wanted to cross the mountain, and where in between there was Alakananda river. Some place, though it was not very steep, but it was biting ice cold water, and he didn't have warm clothes also, and he didn't bother. Just he crossed the river. While crossing the river, there were stones and pebbles and whatnot. As a result, he had a cut in the legs. And when he came out from the Alakananda river, when he went to the other bank, his foot was numb and he was unable to walk. He sat for some time with his torn clothes. He tied something for his feet, and again he went. And he was dead tired. At some point of time, he was feeling very difficult to go further. Then he was probably, his mind was expecting some help. Interestingly, in that hard, intense jungle in the foot of Himalayas, two monks come again. It was a God's grace or a God sent messengers, and they came and they explained where you are there, if you have to go any place, how to go, what to go, and all. And they also said they are going to a particular place. If we wish, they can take him. But then Saraswati, he had a very strong determination. He said, "No, I have to go somewhere else. So I would like to go to Siddhapada Tirtha, etc." Then the yogis said bye and they left. And Swami Dayananda Saraswati went to Siddhapada Tirtha and he met the yogi there. And afterwards, from there, probably, he traveled again to Badrinarayan. When he went to Badrinarayan, Swami Dayananda Saraswati health was not very good. Then the Pandit or the Mahant of the Badrinarayan temple, he took care of him. He fed him nicely and all. Uh, then his health became all right. He had learned himself Vedas and Sanskrit grammar, then Vedangas, Puranas, Upavedas and all. But still he was not happy, or he didn't feel enough of his learning. At some point of time, see, this is a common thing which we have to understand. The emotions will have upside and down in every one of us. In a common people, it is more, and in the well-established people or in the strong-willed people, strong mindset people, these upside downs will be less. And he's a strong physique, he has got strong willpower, he has got strong mind, strong character. But still, even Swami Dayananda Saraswati, somewhere he got dejected on himself and he felt depression and he wanted to end his life. At some point of time, his mind also went that narrow path of the wrong idea, wrong thinking. For some time he thought, then he also knew that because scripture says that the suicidal is the greatest sin, so I should not succumb to that, he said, and let me travel more and let me try to get gurus and let me learn. He thought and he changed his mind, and with his positive mind, again he traveled to the Banaras. From Badrinarayan, Badri Vishal, he came to Banaras and he met several Pandits and he had a lot of discussions with all of them. Then finally he came to Agra. From Agra, he came to the, what do you say, Mathura. In the Mathura, interestingly, he met one of the monk, very well learned monk, Swami Virajananda. Now, in the Ramakrishna mission, we have got one disciple of Holy Mother and Vivekananda, Swami Virajananji. He's not that Virajanji I'm meaning. This is a Virajananda Saraswati, is a other, one other monk. So Swami Dayananda Saraswati had heard about Swami Virajananji and his learning skills and his scholastic nature, scholarly nature, and he met him. So there is a very interesting conversation because both know each other Sanskrit. Virjandi has closed his heart and his inside, and Swami Dayan Saraswati went and knocked at the door. Then Swami Virjanji asked, "Who are you?" Swami Dayananda Saraswati said that I am so and so, I am Swami Dayananda Saraswati. Okay, fine. Why have you come? Oh, I have to learn some Sanskrit. I have to learn from you. That's why, or that's where I have come. Oh, you want to learn, you know, Sanskrit or whatever he asked. And Virjanji, when he was asked, and Swami Dayananda Saraswati says, yes, I know Sanskrit, I know preliminary Sanskrit, I know Vedas and etc. Then he put some conditions and all. Then Virjanji put some conditions, then Saraswati accepts. And it is quite interesting to know about Swami Virjananji himself. Virjanji was born in the Punjab area, and at the age of 5 or 6, unfortunately, he got smallpox. In those days, smallpox, chickenpox was quite common, and he had a smallpox. And due to the smallpox, he went blind for his entire lifetime. And parents were unhappy and all. Never mind. At the age of 6, he was completely blind. Then his parents were taking care, and at the age of 11, he lost both of his parents, and he became orphan. So at the age of 11, he became orphan. Then he had his elder brother and a sister-in-law. They were not happy about him. They were creating troubles and all. For 1 year, he bore the problem from his brother and sister-in-law, and it became so much. Then this Swami Virjananda understood that I don't want anymore. I mean, they don't want me anymore. It is better to leave. So though he was he was a blind person, at the age of 12, he left and he reached from the Punjab, that is the west part of India, to Haridwar, to the northern part of India. Of course, while going, he had to face a lot of hardships, a lot of falls he had, body was wounded, all these things he had to face. He faced all of them and he went to Rishikesh. After 3 years, he reached Rishikesh. There he, for 3 years, just he practiced contemplation and started chanting Vedic mantras, that is Gayatri mantra, and few other things. So for 3 years, he did very intense tapas with a bare minimum necessities he had. Then afterwards, he met some monks and he received some education and all. Then at the age of 18, he came back to Haridwar and he received sannyas. Interestingly, and he was named as Virjananda Saraswati. He met Swami Paramananda there in Haridwar and he received sannyas. And though he's a though he's a blind, but he learned Siddhanta Kaumudi. Siddhanta Kaumudi is a Sanskrit text, Sanskrit grammar text. And he learned Vedas and he learned Vedangas and he learned Vedanta scriptures. And he was able to compose even poems in the Sanskrit. Such scholarly person, he became Swami Virajananda Saraswati. So though he's a blind person. Then he came to Banaras and he mastered Mimamsa Sutras, Nyaya Sutras, Vedanta Sutras, and all. And people were astonished towards his scholarship because he's a blind, but still, those days they don't have any, voice recorders and all. But still, with the help of others, he studied and he mastered all of them. And he went to Gaya, and there he traveled to Gaya and he mastered the Brahma Sutras or Vedanta Mimamsa Sutra, and he also traveled to Calcutta and different places. And such a Virajananji now is in Mathura. He went to Calcutta and in different places he went. And during his time from Calcutta, I think he came to Rajasthan in the Alwar. Someone said the Alwar, the king, Maharaja, that is Vinay Singh. Vinay Singh was the king of the Alwar in those days, Rajput. He came to know about the greatness of the Swami Virjananda Saraswati's his scholarly nature and all. This Maharaj Vinay Singh was a good natured person. He went and he approached Swami Virjananda Saraswati and he welcomed to his kingdom. Then he said, "See, look, I'm a monk and you are a king. We don't have any common things. So why should I come to your palace? And what is that for me to come and stay in in your palace? I would like to stay in the hermit, or I would like to stay in the forest or temple or whatever." Then they discussed, and Vinay, that Maharaja was pleading him to come time and again. Then Swami Vijayanda Saraswati said, "On one condition I will come. If you agree that every day, 3 hours of time you have to give so that I can teach something, so that you can learn. If you agree for that, then I will come." Now you see, every day he has to come, and he's a king. And Maharaja Vinay Singh, he agreed. He agreed. Then both of them, they traveled to Alwar, and he was staying in the palace or in the outskirts of palace. And for 3 years, the study went on without any single day gap. Unfortunately, one day, Maharaja Vinay Singh was welcomed by his friends or other kings for some party. Somehow it went out of his mind or whatever. So somehow he went to that party and it became late. And this Virjan Saraswati was angry and was annoyed, obviously. And when Raja understood about the time and he came and he apologized, he asked pardon and all. But unfortunately, Swami Vijayanda Saraswati was not such a person. He was very short tempered. Though he was a blind, he had a strong willpower, but he was also a short tempered. He said, "No, sorry, you have broken the promise, but I will not break my promise. Now, since you have broken your promise, I will leave this place." And he came to Mathura and he settled there. Now, Swami Dayananda Saraswati is trying to learn Shastra scriptures from such a hardcore monk who is a short tempered. Swami Dayananda Saraswati initially also was put under test. Though Swami Dayananda Saraswati himself is a monk, then he used to sweep his guru's the kutia every day, sweeping, mopping, and bringing the water and cleaning the place so that his guru place will be free from all dirt and etc. But still, Dayananda Saraswati was taken into task many times from his guru. Every time, though he got so many bad treatment, Swami Dayananda Saraswati just accepted, and with all the humbleness and with all the respect, used to serve his guru, Swami Virjananda Saraswati. And the biography says one Swami Virjananda Saraswati, with angry, he bet him, Swami Dayananda Saraswati, so much so that on the hand, the mark was there till the end, till the death of the Swami Dayananda Saraswati, it seems. So much anger he was there and he tested him, but every time Swami Dayananda Saraswati passed the test. See, if you're a strong-willed person, if you got quite a determination, then whatever you may come, you will not deter, you will not get wavery. So what type of Shraddha one should have to get the highest knowledge has been told here. We can see in the Nachiketa, and we can see in the Aruni, and we can see in the quite a few people where their Shraddha and their willpower was so strong. Whatever may come, they will not leave the path. They will not divert from the path. So same thing we can see in the life of Swami Dayananda Saraswati. So, and during that time also there was a famine. Then Saraswati had to arrange for his meals, and there was a difficulty. Sometimes he hardly stayed with his few, just dry, barley or dry grains crushed into powder and made into cake, or that like chapati. So very with the basic minimal things, Swami Dayananda Saraswati had to struggle. But anyhow, he studied Panini Sashtadhyayi, Siddhanta Kaumudi, and few other texts under his guru, Swami Vijayananda Saraswati. So for 2.5 years, he studied Panini Mahabhashya, Vedanta Sutra, and others from his guru, and he felt now his study is complete. And one fine day, Swami Dayananda Saraswati went and he said, he gave his guru Dakshina. And he said, I will be leaving. And of course, he left. Then afterwards, he came to he traveled to different places in the northern India. He came to Bombay second time, and there he decided that I should start a school and all. He established Farakabad first in the school, that to Patashala, to teach Vedic knowledge and to teach Sanskrit and all. Then in Kashiganj, Mirajpur, then Kashi, so many other places, the Vedic Patashalas were started. But the education was free there. The education was free, and only the conditions were few. That morning and evening they had to early morning they have to get up, and early morning and evening they had to do their Sandhya Vandana, and some few strict observations were there. And they had to study properly, sincerely, and they had to do their assignments and other things. So basically, any typical Indian education system which was there in the olden days was there, but it was free of education and it was open to for everyone, irrespective of any caste, religions, creed, and all. And in 1875, he established the Arya Samaj, through which go back to Vedas and the whole the philosophy and the teachings of the Dayananda Saraswati was taught and preached. That was in 1875. He established the Arya Samaj. So Arya Samaj, in a nutshell, if you say, they accept Vedas and they accept Upavedas and six darshanas and all other schools, shakas of the Vedas. Only the primary source of the Sanatana Dharma, that is Hinduism, only they accept, not any Puranas and other things. And there will be a primary center in every province, and they will have some branches, and they will have a weekly paper called Arya Prakash to teach their what do you say philosophy, and they had their own whatever rules and regulations for this Arya Samaj. Now, after establishing that, he went to different places and all, and finally, he was in Jodhpur, and he met a lot of British officers, then the kings and the princes and the and the pandits. Swami Dayananda Saraswati, he started preaching his philosophy and his teachings. So many were accepted. They had a lot of debates. He had a lot of debates, hard debates everywhere. Most of the places, no, all the places, he used to win because of his scholarly nature and because of his deep insights and all. As a result, yeah, there were also some bad incidents, and he also got some enemies because of this. Then in the Jodhpur, in Mount Abu, when he was in Jodhpur, Rajasthan, he started getting first started with a cold, then it started as chest congestion, stomach congestion, and some blisters, all these things. Then initially, as a monk, he said, I will not take any medicine, and just some ajvana used to take and used to depend on the God. Slowly, more and more, more and more, when things got worsened, then the doctor was called and the medicine was given. After some time, the doctor said the Jodhpur, weather will not be suitable to him. It is better the Mount Abu weather will be better. Then the Maharaja Pratap Singh of the Jodhpur, he arranged and he gave enough money, and he arranged. Then they went in between also, he had a lot of health issues. And finally, I think when he was in Abu, a great physician came, and by the time his body had been deteriorated, there were a lot of blisters on his body, and health was a great matter of concern. Then the doctor said, I'm sorry to say that he has been poisoned, and his system, that poison has entered into every part of the system. Now it is very difficult to take care of him or to get rid of this poison. If you had come few days before here, probably would have done. So, but they tried their best, but it was not of much use. And one fine day, during this time, Swami Dayananda Saraswati called his disciples and he said, what is the Panchanga? What is the Panchanga means? What is the date and day of the date and Tithi, Vara, Nakshatra, we say? What is that? Then they said it is Deepavali, beginning of the Shukla Paksha, and it is on Tuesday. Then he said, fine. And he asked them to make him to sit. And he was sitting on the bed. And even in that point, he got up and he had a simple ablutions, and he came back and he sat and he started chanting Vedic mantras. He started chanting Vedic mantras, then he did Ishvara Stuti, and he started chanting Gayatri Mantra. That is on 30th October 1883. On the Deepavali day, he left his mortal coil, and he was just 59 years. You see, this is a great person's, nature. Even at that given point of time, his body was suffering. His body was with full of blisters. He had such a weak physique. Even turning the other side was very difficult for him. His body was so fragile at that given point of time, but he was with full of consciousness. He got up, he sat and chanting the Vedic mantras, and the Gayatri mantra and the different Ishwar Stuti and all. And the 1883 and the 30th October, he left his mortal coil. And before leaving mortal coil, one of his disciple he asked, "Revered sir, where are you?" Interestingly, he asked, I don't know, we don't know why he asked, but he asked, "Where are you?" And Swami Dayananda Saraswati says, "I am in the God." So when his disciple asks, "Where are you?" He says, "I am in the God." And after that, he makes a beautiful prayer. That means he was very well aware about that he has been poisoned and all. That's the reason I think he tells this prayer. Merciful and Almighty Lord, such is your will. Such is your will. And let this thine will be fulfilled. So he knew that he has been poisoned. He had accepted that. So, and that's why he's saying, "Oh Lord, such is your will. Such is your will. Let your will be fulfilled." So, whatever it comes, let me accept it. So, this is called prasad buddhi. In all the great see, they were all great people. They had a lot of yogic powers and all. They could have easily, using yogic powers, they could have depoisoned their body, or they could have been careful. They could have done something else, but they didn't do anything. Whatever the God's will comes, or whatever is the fate you say, or whatever is the providence wish is there, they used to succumb. Though they have got all the power to stop to certain extent, but they didn't do it because the prasada bodhi. Because for them, birth and death was not at all a question. So they wanted to live for the truth, they wanted to experience the truth, and they want to preach the truth. So their life was completely dedicated, or their life was made an experiment to know the truth, to experience the truth. That's where they were all obsessed. They were not obsessed with their body or with their mind or with the outside properties or the world and its objects and whatnot. They were only bothered about the truth, experiencing the truth, and if possible, trying to teach the truth to the people. So that's why even he also didn't bother, and remembering the God and chanting the Vedic mantras, he left his mortal coil. So he established the Arya Samaj, and at some point of time in the north and the western part of India, it swayed over. Hundreds of disciples followed the Arya Samaj. Lot of people, lot of memberships were there, and slowly, now if you see, Arya Samaj has been reduced. Unfortunately, the followers have diminished. So basically, his philosophy was we have to depend on the Vedas, because Vedas are the primary text for our Sanatana Dharma or Hindu Dharma. So we should be based on the only the primary text called Vedas. Then afterward, there are so many texts have come which are in consonance with the Vedas. We can follow, we should listen to them and all. But if something else, then we should not accept it. That's why he gave a clarion call: go back to Vedas. Go back to Vedas means what? Study Vedas, understand Vedas, and implement the Vedas in your life or in our life. And even the Sandhya Vandana was very much given importance. The Agnihotra, which is the Vedic view of life, the Agnihotra was again rejuvenated. Even today, the followers of Arya Samaj, they do Agnihotra very regularly. They teach that Agnihotra, and also he revived Hinduism, or revived Indian Renaissance, or the modern Hinduism, modern India in his own way. So Arya Samaj, Brahma Samaj, Prarthana Samaj, Theosophical Society, Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, all of them came in the 18th and 19th century, more or less, and they revived the India. Why? Because for 10 centuries we were ruled by different people. So the slavery was very quite common, and lot of other financial problems were there, political problems were there, cultural problems were there, all these things were there. So to handle all this, to protect and to revive the Indian culture, to revive the Hindu culture, so many saints, galaxy of saints took birth in India, and they tried to revive the Indian culture, Hindu culture especially. And among them, the Swami Dayananda Saraswati is one of the pioneer who took birth and who tried to revive the Indian culture and Hindu culture. May his life will be a great example for all of us, so that we shall also try to learn and experience the truth, and we shall also try to follow his iron will. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.